Long ago, when the world was new, the goddess Hylia united the three golden goddesses, Din, Furosh, and Naru, to form the Triforce, a sacred relic containing the collective powers of creation, wisdom, and courage. This artifact, however, proved too tempting to leave unguarded. So the goddess Hylia hid the Triforce away in the secluded sacred realm, accessible only through the passage of time and the machinations of fate. But even such power cannot exist without attracting those who seek to wield it for their own ends. And soon, whispers of the Triforce began to stir in the hearts of men. In the distant land of Eldoria, where golden plains met towering mountains, a young traveler named Link wandered the old kingdom roads. Guided only by the wind and the weight of destiny, he had no home to return to and no family to speak of. 4 generations, his kind had traveled the land, living among the people only long enough to hear their stories before moving on again, leaving him with nothing but memories and a deep longing for something more. For Link, there was little to distract him from the long road ahead. His life was a simple one. By day, he followed the winding tracks of the ancient Hyrulean kingdom, sleeping beneath the stars and hunting for food when hunger struck. By night, he listened to the wandering bards retell the tales of heroes past, of ancient relics, lost civilizations, and a darkness long sealed away. Stories of a legendary hero who wielded the Master Sword, fought monsters, and rescued a captured princess. Tales that hinted at a destiny waiting for him, if only he knew it. One evening, as the sun dipped below the high cliffs of Hyrule Pass, Link came across a burning carriage surrounded by monstrous beasts. Without hesitation, he drew his blade and leaped into battle. As he fought, he could hear the creatures screeching and howling in pain, their voices echoing across the valley. With every swing, he felt the rush of adrenaline and the thrill of survival course through his veins. When the smoke cleared, he found an elderly woman laying injured by the road. Her eyes, though aged, burned with urgency. Her name, he learned, was Impa, former guardian to Princess Zelda of the once great Hyrulean kingdom. She told Link how that night her master, King Rome, had been betrayed by his closest advisor, a man named Del, who opened the castle gates to an invading force of monsters. Monsters led by a shadowy figure with burning red eyes. With the kingdom under attack, King Rome sent his daughter Zelda and the royal advisor Impa away, hoping they could escape to the safety of the Temple of Light. But Del, consumed by greed, had revealed the secret passage to the Gerudo Desert. There, Zelda and Impa were captured and brought before the man who called himself Ganon, a warlord born of shadow and ambition. Ganon sought the Triforce of Power, an ancient artifact said to grant divine rule to whoever held it. When the kingdom's defenses failed and King Rome fell in battle, Princess Zelda knew what must be done. In secret, she shattered the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 sacred fragments and hid them deep within the most dangerous corners of the Silent Forest, the Molten Crags, the Abyssal Lake, and beyond. Each fragment was imbued with a portion of her soul and protected by trials designed to test the strength and resolve of any who sought them out. Before she was captured, Zelda entrusted Impa with one final message: find the hero chosen by fate. Impa believed Link to be that very hero, so she passed him a worn scroll marked with the royal seal and a pendant glowing faintly with sacred light. The scroll contained a map, not of roads or cities, but of ancient shrines and forgotten dungeons, long erased from common memory. According to the map, each shrine guarded a fragment of the Triforce of Wisdom, and each fragment a test of courage, wisdom, and heart. The pendant, meanwhile, seemed to hum with latent power, guiding Link towards the nearest shrine with an otherworldly glow. Together, these gifts made Link the first Hylian to have heard of Zelda in over 70 years. But his mission was greater than reclaiming the Triforce. Gans had begun corrupting the land. Friendly animals had turned to monsters. Rivers flowed with poison. Entire villages vanished without a trace. And in the heart of the Blight, a black fortress rose, pulsing with malevolent energy. As Link journeyed across Eldoria, he saw firsthand the destruction wrought by Ganon. It was a heavy burden to bear, knowing that every step brought him closer to the horrors unleashed by this relentless darkness. Yet with each passing moment, Link felt a growing sense of purpose. The people he had met along the way, the monsters he had defeated, the legends he had heard as a child, it all started to make sense. Their stories wove together to form a tapestry of hope and despair, a legacy that had been entrusted to him. Link understood then. This was not just a rescue. It was a reckoning. A showdown between good and evil that had been foretold since the dawn of time. And as he ventured deeper into the corrupted lands, he became more determined than ever to succeed. So Link pressed on, his steps growing surer with each passing day. From frozen ruins beneath the glacier peaks to the sunken halls of the ancient Zora temple, he solved riddles inscribed by sages, battled beasts born from nightmares, and faced illusions that tested the core of his spirit. In the Desert of Whispers, he encountered a mysterious warrior cloaked in blue who spoke in riddles and vanished like mist. Some say it was the spirit of a long-dead knight, forever bound to protect the desert sands. In the Hollow Vale, he discovered an ancient language that only the pendant could translate, revealing truths about the origins of the Triforce and the curse bound to Ganon's bloodline. Along the way, he met others who had been touched by Ganon's curse. A young girl named Mipha, transformed into a Zora fish by a magical earring. A stoic Goron named Derek, hardened against the world by the loss of his tribe. And a wise Rito elder named Urbosa, whose people had been scattered by Ganondorf's armies. Together, they formed an unlikely bond, each bringing their unique skills and experiences to the fight against the encroaching darkness. Piece by piece, Link retrieved each fragment of the Triforce of Wisdom. Each one brought him closer to Zelda, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Through her spirit, he experienced her kindness, her compassion, and her unwavering belief in him. At the same time, each fragment amplified Link's connection to the land, allowing him to understand the pain it was suffering at the hands of Ganon. Finally, with the Triforce of Wisdom restored, and the Master Blade awakened from its slumber beneath the Temple of Light, Link set forth to the Forsaken Citadel. There, he confronted and bested the four divine beasts, each a manifestation of Ganondorf's darkest desires, only to find that Ganon had anticipated his every move. Ganondorf revealed that he had used Link's own connection to Zelda to manipulate him, leading him to each fragment and amplifying his emotions along the way. Now that Link had restored the Ganon planned to use its power to corrupt Zelda's spirit entirely, turning the princess into a vessel for his own nefarious purposes. In the end, however, it was Link's love for Zelda and his unshakable determination to save her that allowed him to resist Ganon's influence. With the combined strength of the Triforce of Courage and the Master Sword, Link banished Ganon back to the shadows, sealing away the darkness once more. In the aftermath, Link and the champions who had joined him on his journey were celebrated as heroes. But Link, ever restless, felt a new calling. He had saved Eldoria this time, but he knew that the battle against evil was eternal. So with a heavy heart and a determined spirit, he set off once more to wander the old kingdom roads. Forever vigilant, forever ready to answer the call of adventure. And so, the legend was born, whispered around campfires, and sung by traveling bards. A tale of courage, friendship, and the unwavering spirit of a hero who walked the path laid out before him. A hero whose name was Link. That concludes part 1 of The Legend of Eldoria. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more updates.